Doesn't have to do that. I hope you don't need it.
Ipa-autoplay na pa na sobrang.
Yeah.
Okay, again, so this is going to be good. What do you want to learn?
Like,
How does it go? How does it go?
yes,
Okay, how does it go? Okay.
Hey, day hawa ni Radia day. Para di si Doc, para di siya maglisod.
Go pa dito, Meg. Oh, may YouTube. May YouTube.
Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe.
Yeah, click down.
Ay, ano dito magaling?
Karit sama.
Kato, set 1.
Sige, ito set
Set may set 1, set 2. Kasi, ka na
Katong set 2 kay katong na ay duwa ka buok sa
So this one, we've never done this before. It's our first time to do this. It's not much different from the other cranials we do. It's a little bit long because usually when we do trauma, up to the dura, once we open the dura, we remove the clot, then we close. Then after we open the dura, we go deeper, deep into the almost near the center of the brain. That's why it's gonna take another extra 4 hours. Kung na-add mo 4 hours nga cranial, this probably mga 8 to 9 hours from skin to skin. Because it takes another 4 hours to mess around inside. The lucky thing is, this particular aneurysm is superficial. I won't have to go deep into the circle of Willis. It's not just here in the, siguro this deep into the, not so long, not so deep. How many, let us stage it now to be able to divide the surgery. You have the opening phase and the closing phase. It's easy, no? And you are used to that already. Okay. Opening, you know this already. And the closing, you also know this. Let's add another one here called the positioning. That's why, pag may field sana, we could train. But if there's no may field, I just use, naman tong horseshoe, di ba? The black. We'll use that na lang. Opening, and then of course is maybe the dissection. So maybe these two we haven't really done that much yet work. The positioning, the patient will be lying down. He won't be prone. He won't be, lying down. But the head will be a little turned to the right side because it's on the left side. And then dapat nakahangad siya. So that's why it's supposed, the head holder keeps it like that forever. During the surgery, di natin masiging. So the idea maghahangad siya is so that, so this is him, her, so that the frontal lobe, basically, the brain basically falls by gravity. So that's the skull kasi, the brain flops like that. So I don't have to retract the brain, the gravity will do that for us. So this is where we approach it. Kasi if it's upright, then I have to keep doing that to the brain. I'll be fighting against the brain. So that's the positioning. That's all. Nothing complicated. Lang itong clamp. So easy. So the opening, what makes the opening long is I have to get this drill and go bzzz, tundugay kaayo here where it's bloody because because the skull there's a bone that juts out inside like that called the sphenoid. The sphenoid wing. So this is the frontal lobe, this is the parietal lobe, and there's a bone that juts in like that. The aneurysm kasi is there. So I don't have to keep retracting brain. I remove this bone, so I drill it off. So it becomes open. So imbis na ana siya, wala na siya, flat na lang siya. So that's the frontal lobe and the temple. Now I have space. Now I have space to work without having to retract the brain. So this takes time, it's bloody to do this, but this is the opening phase. You might have to be a little patient when we do that part. But after that, then we open the dura. When it's time to open the dura, usually clear away the heavy instruments na. No? We remove the bordures, everything. And that is the time when we stretch a bit. Sa dinaan na natin itong microscope. Dapat ba cover? The last one. Na-order na ta?
Wala ba, Dok? Kay, dahil, kung dako siya, Dok, then, mo bayad dako, kay dako man siya po.
Kato akong gihatag nga na yun, wala sila.
Wala siya.
Laika?
Kay lahi ko, siya wala may anak niyo, kung ano, kay Laika.
Parehanan, don't tell them it's Zeiss. Don't tell them it's Mueller.
Kay parang maghatag.
Universal na siya. Ang difference siguro is the size of the katong cover sa kuan. Pero magwan taro man tong mga rubber band. Di siya mo share.
O pa po siya nag-mention, sa'yo, mao na yung discount, sa'yo, okay na yun, ko sa mo na ang machine, Dok.
Mueller, parang it's the same.
Sige, bangutanan na lang po, Dok.
So when it comes to opening the dura, what we need, so the microscope, let's get it ready. It's usually, kato yung poste, more or less to the side of his head. Or to the left, to the shoulder, kung asa siya nasa ilibutan. Usually the stand of the microscope is to the well, as this side, the head. And usually, para you have an idea, the microscope, because the microscope looks like this, diba? More or less, this is how the microscope looks like. Diba? That's the light, and this is the surgeon. So this one is more or less near the head or the shoulder. It's usually stable when it's in a 90-degree angle. So just imagine how it's going to look like. This is probably the most stable. Kasi you can also do it like that. Pwede po siyang but these are very unstable positions. So better. So if you can estimate how far man ang usually stretch out mo lang yung arm, then more or less that's how it's going to be. That's the how you look. So let me see. The steps to this part is where we una I'll tell you my part, then we can talk about what your part is, no? Sylvian fissure, dissection or opening or splitting. I think the word is splitting. Then it's going to be the aneurysm, neck dissection, or the preparation, and the third is the clipping. And then after that, reassessment or inspection. So, check na natin mag-ibuhat. So those are the 4 parts of the dissection. The Sylvian fissure is, if this is the brain, this is the frontal lobe, this is the temporal lobe, this is the Sylvian fissure. It's actually an opening, you can actually split it, but in reality, there's plenty of veins and arachnoid tissue there. It's really hard to do that. So usually with microscope nakana. And instead of a knife, I use the needle. If you've seen me do that, I ask for a syringe, tuberculin needle, and I use the needle tip to cut the spider web, the arachnoid, parang spider web material. And then usually we use micro instruments. So usually I use my very fine suction. Naraman ko. Fine suction tip. I use my Roton dissector, which I have. I hope you have a micro scissor, na ba ta?
Itong last ng gamit sa tumor, Dok.
How does it look like? Micro scissor, itong bayonet? At ako ay inyo ha?
Dili.
Ako to?
Ako to.
Ato ang hand it? Wanna make sure it's there?
Hindi ko sure.
Ito na yung ace diya nga customer na nakabutang ace pa na nalagay. Ako mo itong dilog to ka. Ilang gipulihan yung gate? Anyway. It's probably there. Balik-balik ka na siya kasi ang suction tip na is also my retractor. So I use the suction tip to retract the brain. Then I use the tuberculin syringe.
May drizzle eh. Abot English sabi. Ang drizzle. Ang katong gagmay.
Na magagawin tax niya.
Rada.
See? I see? Yeah, that's my sister. Perfect. So we have, no? That's an old, yeah. That's,
Nasa na siya itong needle holder.
tanong ko sa uban, ha?
Needle holder na.
Ana
Here.
siya.
Okay, needle holder. Grabe, so they're very small things. Ating mga drill, ating
Then
mga
the
bala.
suction.
Okay, so I have these now. So these are the ones I'm going to use for
Okay. Wala pa. Another reason. Kani, you mean
So the purpose of the Sylvian splitting is looking for it, finding it, hunting for it. It's there. The aneurysm is there somewhere, but our job is to look for it. It will not come to me. I have to look for it. So, this is usually the balik-balik medicines I'm going to use. The suction to remove blood and to retract the brain. The tuberculin, I'll call it a knife. I usually call it a knife. If I say knife, I'm talking about the tuberculin syringe with needle. The needle is what I use to slice the brain surface. Actually, the arachnoid, not the brain. The arachnoid. Then I split it. The micro scissor is to cut. The roton dissector is the blunt dissector. I think you've seen it. And then the idea is to split this wide open. To make this like that. Because then I will find the aneurysm somewhere there. So you want it, I want it, we all want it open. Ganganga na siya. Para makita ito ang aneurysm. So that's the Sylvian splitting. Then after we do that under the microscope, we usually find it na. But when we find it, it doesn't look nice and clean. Oh, in the textbook it has a nice drawing. It's very easy to. But in reality, it's messy. There's plenty of blood clot around it. The arteries that not supposed to be there are stuck there. And now my job is to hagpat it para di siya ma-appeal. Okay, ma-appeal siya sa clip, syempre ma-stroke na siya, mabalda na siya. So, what do I use? Usually still the same. So if I see the aneurysm, I will usually do that. Most of the time, I still do the same dissection. The difference here, when we reach that point, paggawas na ako itong aneurysm clip applier daan because bad things can happen in this stage. It's when something ruptures, the aneurysm can re-bleed kasi pag wahingi mo, you remove na-stretch siya. Itong yung plug na blood clot mo, ma-dislodge, so mabuto na. So actually, dili man na kayo makita nimo if you're looking at it from outside. But inside the microscope, mura gabaha na siya kay magnified naman kaayo. And they can lose a lot of blood from the blood loss. So when we go to this stage, usually mga micro aneurysm, ang aneurysms at ginabrihan na. So the purpose is just in case these bad things happen, we can control it easily. Hindi ta mag-panic. Duha man ikaw usapod na pud siya dito.
Ay, anak te, katong buwak ka buwak na masasalit. Ano?
Let's see. Kini usawa ni sulod.
Ay,
Wala. Napala na tong tig. Especially, have you seen an aneurysm clip before?
No.
No?
Aside from
Kano saan ito open yesterday?
Yeah, you've seen them. Hindi ka may mga...
Awang gay. Check.
You leave this behind. Because an aneurysm, basically an aneurysm is like this. So, pag may artery, and then usually it happens during the branching. Our arteries branch around it. Usually like that. Usually it follows, kung a person, our blood goes like that. Kung high blood siya, normally wala man na. But kung high blood siya, sige siya, bang, bang, bang. So, ponk, ponk. So, magkadako, no? Matod na siya, ana, then siya, buto na dito, utak sang ika-M pressure over pila ka years. So, our job is to apply a clip there. And then we leave it behind. Ideally, it should look like that. Ang ana mag-itsura niya. This is a very easy aneurysm kung ana mo tao. Then you put the clip here. Kaya na may bustot diha. And there's a plug lang, a thrombus na naka-plug din. You put a metal clip around it, or wala na siya. The blood will simply go there. Hindi na siya mapuno with blood, umuutong ang pasyente, hindi na mo rupture again. So you leave the metal clip inside. I have two brands, the German one, Esculap, and the Sugita, the Japanese, and they're the same. They just look a little different, but they're basically the same. Pero usually, ang Wapog Fit, Sugita clip with a Sugita plier, and the Esculap, the Sargil or Esculap clip with an Esculap plier. Most of these are, kini mga black, these are the German clips, no? These are the Esculap. You can see naman, Esculap. And then these stainless steel ones are the Japanese Sugita. Everything here in this metal is our Sugita clips.
Muna yung gatong gifit mo natin.
Uy, hindi yan. These are the Esculap clips. Let me show you an example of a clip. There are basically two kinds of clips, the gold and the silver. Gold are temporary clips, and silver are the permanent clips. Ang gold, ang temporary is sometimes galugo na, or before it even bleeds, butangan mo temporary, mahumok siya. Then you put the permanent clip, and then you get the gold out. No? Just think that the gold is mine. Silver is yours, but gold is mine. So think of this as a temporary, the gold. So when I ask for temporary, usually just give me this thing. And then for permanent, the silver. So they come in two kinds, two colors. They also come in two sizes, mini and standard. Mini and big. So these ones are big. Let me show you a mini, the difference. So this is a mini clip, and this is a standard clip.
Okay.
So they're different. Their pliers are different, and it's hard to tell. Basahin mo na lang sa handle, nakalagay. Standard or mini. So this one says, if you're not sure, standard Finox clip. No, it says there, standard Finox clips.
Okay.
This one says mini clips.
This one.
The problema sa Japanese,
Kani mo yung walay
Wala.
brand dara.
Hinapon.
it doesn't
Asa
say.
te? Yeah. Nay mini o standard.
Yeah, so. But the other clips, I also have Japanese clip there na. Kini lang wala.
So unsa ani mo pagawal ang sizes ani daw? Ikuan na siya.
I use the others na.
Okay.
Avoid doing it.
That is
So now you know there's a mini and a standard. So you know what to use. Okay. So the standard and the mini can use either temporary or permanent clips. You play around with it. It has a lock eh. Mulak siya, then you open up with siya, no? So because let's try playing around with it. So this is a standard clip. Saan a mini or standard?
Mini daw.
Mini, so let's use a mini clip.
standard.
May galing. Kita Miss Japanese. Pero din
So this is how, so you put it in like that.
Kita sa video tayo parang kabus na
You simply put it there.
Standard.
Isa tawag mo lang, make sure nga kaong siya. Wala siya mabiting. Hindi siya anak, malagpot man. No? Make sure it's snugly inside and then you play around. First you play around with this one. Light touch naman ni kaayo. Lock, open. Lock, open. Then you put it in. Then lock ay hala. Usually you lock it with a microscope, a clip inside. A clip inside. So, sa ana na siya. Remember nga, it's like a gun. Don't give it like that unless he asks for it, but usually it's like that. Because the gun, the purpose of the angle is so you can aim. So anak po, it's like a gun because the purpose of it is I can aim there inside the hole. No? Okay, if it's like that, then I cannot see anymore. So it's usually like that. So you play around with it, you put it in your hand, you clip, unclip, mahulog man siya. Ibili na niyo pagkahuman. No? So play around with it. Usually before we even do the dissection, the next dissection, the preparation, naka-ready na niya siya para we get 3 or 4 clips ready, temporaries and latag na sa
Naka-ready na.
So if nothing bad happens, then I even have time to pick one and put it in. But buto-buto na, and unfortunately I'm alone, and there's no assistant microscope, you can't see. So I'll have to manage everything inside. Well, you have to manage outside, just ask for things. So I'm not sure on the downside. But we just have to do it. No? Ang choice, if it happens, we have to do it. We cannot escape. Ang standard, the standard is the same. Why don't you play with it? So this is the meaning. The meaning. Don't use that. That's the last one I have. So I have nothing to use tomorrow. If you makatak na siya, it's hard to find. So you play around with it. Dapat i-clip ang elbows. Doesn't move. There. You play around with that.
Sige daw.
That's
Try daw.
click clock, click clock, click clock.
When you may play after.
Yeah. Then these are the Japanese.
Hindi standard.
Bari ko ito 20.
Nalimot kung standard ganito.
Ayun, really.
Sige, kita mo sa kung ano lang. Put your arms together.
Usually it's easier to, because if you like that, you're kind of moving, but if it's
Follow
like
the
this.
instructions na siya.
Mini ni siya, this is mini. Hindi kayo ang
Hinayan
standard.
Ah, hinayan na. Ah, there. Sus, balikas ka na. Rakuteta. Betty. Sige tayo mag-
Ang curling snake.
Big ni siya, and those are small. So naka-idea na, ano. In fact, kini is super big ni namin. Kini mga mini na yun. Kini mga mini.
Ay, Day, itaw akong video.
You have to force the,
Slowly ra siyang i-click. Ano. Oh yeah, slowly ra dyan. Kana. Nice.
I-release ko no.
Lock. I-push siya.
Walang ko siya nga lang.
Click ra siya.
Pwede ba nag-volleyball? Kung nanido, asay kuan. Sakto ni or balik.
Kuan. Generally, mura po siya pusil.
Ah.
So sakto na siya.
Hindi kaning.
Ang angle?
Ang
The same.
Same.
The same principle.
ani.
Same principle.
okay.
Although sometimes, pag difficult ang aneurysm, bali-balihon na lang siya sa hay. Kaya di man masigo. You can be creative. As a rule, you follow the same or gun angle.
Ano, dulit kay
Yeah, i-anak
Pag di
din.
madala, then we...
Nada, sino ang proper position? Gan,
Fold it.
ano?
Ay, shukoy.
Sige.
Hold it like a gun, dahil sa shrink.
Yeah, so it's easy.
Yeah. Ana natin takilid. Di ba makita? There.
So when you give it to me locked and ready, like a gun. Locked and ready, so you give it to me. Yeah, like this, correct.
Okay.
Kaya mo kita nimo, labi na if it's bleeding, no? If it's an emergency, I cannot look to you. Because wala na, pag I go back, mawala na po, it's already gone. And usually my suction tip is there to keep it from bleeding. When I do that, 1 millimeter away, mawala na po. We never, kita mahuman. Kita mahuman. So dapat, you give it to me. So you hold it, tapos it's like I'm not looking at you, just give it to me. Dapat, yeah, so ganun na. So kaya pasaan na, I can still see it. The moment I look at you, tapos balik na ako, usually, nalumusa siya sa blood, mabalik na po. So balik na sa blood, huli na po na ako nimo, pagkitaon na po na ako, asa to? Yung mga na po kugusob. So it becomes a vicious cycle, we never end. So usually, pag na-control na, that's when I usually ask for knives go like that. So it opens, see? And you put it in, tapos you close it, tapos bibili na siya dito sa loob. Namatay ko tonoid. There, no? Napatuloy sa
Si Ate Flor nagkuando.
dito pa to, or din nga.
Nasa sulod ang kuwano.
Kanindini ay katong
Napatay gagmay, di ba?
May gagmay.
That's ours, that's Siliman's.
Ako na.
Ate Flor dito.
Sa mission.
Nananagari na
Nako to,
ito. Natin gagmay di atin tiny.
Tiny to
Na
tayo
ako
mo
siya.
daw.
Tiny din.
Kani
Mas
kay
tiny.
all
Mas
sa...
tiny pa dito.
Mas tiny pa to.
If ever,
like twice.
it's aeroplano ba? Hindi, unlikely yun din. Over rupture. Usually it's those tiny ones you give me. This is kaya mura na i-plug sa i-plug na. Usually I use the bipolar as the forceps na. So I ask for a bipolar, not necessarily meaning the burn ko. Muna na akong forceps. You suction, put the tiny cotton in the bleeding aneurysm.
It's smaller pa.
And then usually, may tabo anak na mga.
Square, good square.
So usually that means,
Anong circulating?
so usually the solution there is just put a suction tip there and a cotonoid there. So usually I put bipolar forceps with a cottonoid here, and the suction tip there para maundang. Usually it stops. Then because I only have 2 hands, I have to give you back my cottonoid. And then I have to keep the suction tip there kasi the moment I pull it out, magdubahan na po siya. But as long as the suction tip is there, the blood will go there. I can still see what I'm doing. So I'm not looking at you anymore. I give you my cottonoid back, you give me the clip. So I can close it now and we're done. So, na siya. That's probably the most critical step when we have to have teamwork. So everybody does your part, so I can also do my part. That's a clipping part. Sometimes before we go to the clipping part, we do a temporary clip muna. I put a temporary clip here, the gold clip. It's softer. Dili siya, di niya the silver clip will crush this. But the temporary clip will simply close it. I-pinch niya, but a little bit blood still flows. And then once I clip it, I can remove that. So that's a clipping stage. After that, reassess just to make sure. Kasi ano kung makapil ni pag-clip. So I have to reassess. So after the clipping part, nadugay mas clip, hindi ako naman clip naman. Usually I'm checking to make sure nga wala ko makapil ni. Kung na-apil, I have to redo it. I have to remove and reposition. That's all. After that, closing na. So that's
So, ikaw rin siya mabalos na.
So, sige. Let's open the other pack and let's see what's there. No? But,
Ay, kananda. Ang drill kanina.
not the drill. Ito na siya. Okay.
Okay na dito.
Pero ipak na kayo, ipak to sa emergency.
Yata niya rin na lang maladaan.
Pinagduhan.
Kapil man to. Idungan man to.
Kaya usog-usog
Idungan man sila. Start na lang. Isa.
By the way, kini nga plier nga walay lock, they're removers.
Okay.
Kaya to, if you try to remove a clip, mamulak siya, mag-isod mo ka, mag-gusto niya. Kini siya, pag remover na lang, give me something like this para hindi na siya musukol.
Even if ganun mong gigamit ang clip do. It's ko lang.
Yeah.
For remember ka na.
To apply ka na.
Oo.
Sometimes, usahay. Kung remove na lang, maka-remove na eh. Although movable na, pag remove na lang man, okay, di na kay critical. Kini mga walay.
Okay, 84. 84.
Dili gani, lahi gani yung run.
Ito, Monday.
Uma. Ano ba sagot? 17. Today, 84.
Ina to dahil sa pilita. Dungan na nito. Yeah. Wala ka dito.
Kailangan ba na? Di na ako ni-appeal. Kung anak ko na yun, ang sulod niya.
Oo.
Bugat.
Okay na po doon. Para less sa table.
Less things. Ako lang pa ang balik. So, okay na, ano na siya, no? So, pa itong,
Yes.
mga paan, itong Canada, kung sa kayo, what can go wrong? Which is this? This is the other concept. Ito, bariya just to check. Wala, it's not complicated, wala ba tayong Mayfield? So, I just use the horseshoe siguro. Yeah, wala tayo self-retaining. It adds a little bit of complexity when you add the Mayfield and the self-retaining. Sunod na ito, another time kasi we need it. So, this patient doesn't need it. Well, it's nice to have it, but...
Don't ready na yung patient for tomorrow. Ako na mga
clear na na. Nara siya blood. I'll talk to them. I'll talk to them.
Kasi mo na yun, makatugay na ito na mag-procure kasi mag-blood.
More okay na sila. Kasi I spoke with them on Saturday.
Sumabot sa dahil position. Pag-transfer.
Kini.
Kita. Meron ko lang.
So we have these little tiny cottonoids. So, diluto na nilusog siya. Sa microdissectors, I only use number 6. Most of the time, I just use number 6.
Number 6. Number 6.
There's a number mas sa bottom. Then the rest, ipusan na. No? I think, possible. No?
Pwede mo.
It's usually a small Penfield. The others are murag scraper, murag curette mo sa, murag point mo sa, murag hook. This one's like a hook, this one's like a curette. And one curve kaayo.
Timay asa timay ko. Murag nas tumoy girl.
Hindi murag stick lang.
Dire?
Dili ito speak as tumoy.
Bottom, usually.
Nara.
Is it 6? Does it say 6?
Yes.
Asa di bata nami day.
Kuan gani, dili gani siya malima-lima.
Das rotan das. Ini. Ah, yeah. So small. Tumoy, gamay kay siya fine gamit mi last time. Morgan Place naman na.
So no need to obsess, but usually 6 is the universal. You can use it almost everywhere.
Mara siya way commonly ginay. 4 no, 10 fields 4. Yeah.
Then the rest you can hit off with away na na ako.
Bitaw sa ana na daan niya kasi lat ang charot siya ka. Siya na ba sa top to 8. Top to 8.
Kini these are more German pliers. Escolar pliers. Kini single, kini ko for mga shallow lang. We might use this tomorrow kay mabawra man. So dili siya bayonet mo. Kini nadaot naman, I just need it na remover na lang kay. The removers, kini sa German, ang removers are mini and standard. Katong Japanese is universal. Mini na po. Pero before we even do the pili na tadaan, so the rest,
Oh.
kini is sa Japanese.
Hindi mabilis. So, doktor, ito pinabataan nila.
Sige.
More Japanese.
Top to 8 man kaya kami.
Removers. Needle holders na rin ito.
3,
For the rest are pliers.
5, 6, 7, 8.
So more or less yung katulad sa cassette.
Ada sa 7. So, in case na daw siya gusto ko sa 8.
Pagpalit mo lang yung count na.
So, kung magpulihan, mawala ini siya.
Kasi sakto na, para duha na ka, para pagka 10,
Sa Manila,
uli
pero
lang ko. Dili naman, uli lang 8 to 10 na napod mo.
Pero diretso na.
Kung natas critical, dili
Oh, bitaw. Bitaw, last critical case, dili na to pulihan.
Bala pag stress na taman.
Overtime sila.
So, indoors.
Anyone can scrub in the opening part. Because if you're used to the opening, wala mga difference. Yeah, because you might do shifts here. Katong person who's comfortable with the micro, can come in during the Sylvian fissures of the thing. This is one set. And then someone can come in with closing, no? Kasi pag pagod na siya.
Oh, bitaw. Sa
You can shift someone out and then yung closing.
Ato na pala.
Someone can, basta as long as you're counting the tiny cottonoids, you can probably scrub out and rest, and then we'll take a break somewhere. The best time to break is before the Sylvian fissure, kasi you don't want to interrupt this. So usually after the opening, if we need to take a break, we take a break there. So kini more or less one big unit na siya. Then the closing, we can take a break or not, but you can shift during closing. Kaya pareha lang mo ng closing, it's the same. Yeah. So anak lang.
Before siguro sa ko, so basta mag-break sila.
So, pinili na sa pala.
So more or less, start of the opening, 4 hours. Then,
Kaya para ma-familiarize na sila.
Opening, 2 to 3 hours ang opening. Depende yung, hindi siya madugo, past 2 hours. Kung madugo siya, mga 3. And then dissecting usually, let's give it mga budget 4 hours for it. Then closing is mga 2 hours. Okay, mga 3 plus 4, 7 plus 2, 9. The last time I did was 9. 9 months. Let's try to make it shorter and shorter. I'm also counting my time. I'm always recording my time because I want to make it shorter and shorter. Make it comfortable for everybody. Including me.
Pero so far, hindi ko superficial man. So, Doc, compared to
compared to the others.
the other.
Nga naasalot
Compared to
lalo.
sila 9 hours.
That was deep. That was very deep. One child, that was deep.
10 to 6 na lang ka.
Kennedy is more superficial.
Okay, so
Pero isa ra na aneurysm Dok or like dalawa?
Usa ra ka aneurysm.
Ah, okay.
Sometimes, I look at it again. It looks like simple. Sometimes it's very complicated. I need to put in more than one clip. 2 or 3. But it looks easy. I'll study it. It looks more simple. So one chip should probably do it. Sometimes 2. That's why usually palakad mo patabo. Temporaries and
And ang permanent.
So for the okay na nila. At least kanaming overview nga. Kung yung
Highlight
mga
lang.
then sa amin makadecide sa mga staff nila.
Imagine mo para not everybody is nakalupa for the whole 9 hours. 4 hours is a good time to shift out. And then another 4 hours and then shift out. Recording.
Thank you kayo, Doc.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you for your time, Doc.
Thank you for yours.
Sige, paluto na ko din, dayan. So, magsusutag sa'yo, Doc. para
Thanks
sa'yo.
so much Dok.
Okay.
Si Dr. Roxenia, gusto pa sa'yo.
Ay day asa to isa ani day.
Para dito ni Doc ay wa
Ay wala sulod okay kanira. Uy, pwede